Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day. We've got Coco in the back for our video. Today's video covers packet number 4, day 4. So that's what our video is covering for today. And remember at the end of this week to send us 2 pieces of work from each subject. So that's 2 from reading, 2 from writing, 2 from math, and 2 from content, which gives us 8 in all at the end of this week. So if we look at where it says day 4 in your packet, and excuse me, the first thing we're looking at is where it says reference material. Have student write the alphabet across the top of your paper. Using the alphabet you wrote, put the following words in ABC order using the first letter. So again, write the alphabet at the top of your paper. Then you're going to be putting these words in ABC order. Remember what I've told you before? When we do that, you need to look at the first letter in each word and then go through your alphabet. A, do any of the words start with A? B, do any of the words start with B? Yep, I see one. Bag. So that means that when we're putting the words in ABC order, bag would come first. Then keep going with your alphabet. C. So your job is to put those words in ABC order. You have your alphabet written out at the top and just go through saying your alphabet and writing the words as their first letter comes in the alphabet. So that's your first activity in the reading and writing section. The next thing says, say the sounds below and ask students to blend them together to say the word. So this is more so directions for the adult that is near you doing your work, or maybe an older sibling. So they are going to say the word in its different sounds, and your job is to blend it together. So for the first one, the adult or other person that you're doing this with would say sh, a, p, and you would blend that all together. And what's the word? Shape. Good. So you would do that for all of the words listed there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including shape. So the person that you're doing this with will say a word stretched out into its sounds, and you need to blend those sounds together to tell them what the word is. For reading, it says choose a fiction story and read together. Remember the differences between fiction and nonfiction. The nonfiction books give us facts, they teach us something, and they give us information. Fiction books tell a story. There's a beginning, middle, and end, a problem and a solution, characters and setting. All of those things are in a fiction story. So it says choose a fiction story and read together. So any fiction story that you have around at home, choose that and read it with a person who's with you at home. It says using the 5-finger retelling resource in this packet as a guide, ask your child to orally retell the story. So orally, we said, means to just say it out loud. So you're going to be using that 5-finger retelling page that we have used before right here. It's in the back of your packet. So, and you will explain who the characters were in the story, what the setting was, the problem, the big things that happened, the events, and the solution, or how that problem was solved. And you'll be saying that out loud, sharing those thoughts out loud after you've read the story. Then it says, for writing, After the student has orally rehearsed what the story was about, that means you've practiced retelling what the story is about out loud by talking. Have them write to describe what happened in the story to demonstrate comprehension. So now you're going to write down what happened by retelling. So using all of those things from the 5-finger retelling, you're going to write down what happened in the story. It says have student reread writing and edit for capitalization, spelling, and punctuation. So your job is to make sure that you're taking your time with your writing, making sure that you have uppercase letters where you should, lowercase letters where you should, and punctuation at the end of every sentence. When it says to check for spelling, you need to say the word out loud and think about each sound that's in that word and make sure that you're writing those sounds down. So we always start a sentence with an uppercase letter. The word I is always uppercase. I should never see you write the word I like this. It should always look like this. It's someone's name. That first letter is uppercase. We should never have an uppercase letter just randomly in a word. So if I was writing the word park, I should never have this. Should never have a random uppercase letter in the middle of a word. Make sure you're paying attention and focusing on what you're writing so you're not rushing through it. So you'll be writing down what happened in the story by thinking about what you said for the 5-finger retelling. Make sure you take your time and check your work. That's it for the reading and writing section for today. When we're looking at math, there's a word problem here, but as usual, we're going to get to do a practice problem before. So I'm going to put, this would be a very small class, but let's just practice as an example. So 6 boys and 6 girls are in a class. How many children Okay. So this is our practice problem. It says 6 boys and 6 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? Today, 2 are absent. How many are here today? How do you know? And then it says to use pictures, numbers, and words to solve. So just like our problem yesterday, this one is kind of broken into 2 parts. So let's read again and figure out which one is our first part and which one is our second part. 6 boys and 6 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? That's one question. That's one part of the problem. So this is the first thing that I need to figure out. And then we'll get to the next part. So it says 6 boys and 6 girls. So as usual, I'm going to draw a picture. Six boys. 6 girls. How many children are in the class? You could do this a couple of different ways. You could make a 10 frame and try and fill that up and see how many there are. We could draw pictures like this, and to make it easier, we could count by twos, right? So that's what I'm going to do. And really what we're doing is we're just adding together the 6 boys and the 6 girls. So this would be 6 plus 6. Oh, I'm sure some of you are thinking it doubles. So let's figure this out. I'm going to do it by counting by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So when I add up my boys and my girls together, that gives me 12. So that's the answer to the first one. Let's reread it to make sure that we answered it. 6 boys and 6 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? We figured that out. 6 boys and 6 girls added together would give us 12 kids in the class. Then it says, today 2 are absent. How many are here today? How do you know? So we know that there are 12 kids in class altogether. How many are absent? If they are absent, do you think that we are adding them or taking them away? They're not here. So you should be taking them away. So we're taking away 2 of them, and we want to know how many are here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just circle 2 of the students, and we'll pretend that those 2 students were the ones that were absent. So now I'm going to recount, but I'm going to leave these 2 out because they're not here today. So let's do this again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That tells me that when I have 2 kids absent, today there are 10 students here. Let's double check that we answered every question. 6 boys and 6 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? So I'm going to write there are, we said altogether there are 12 kids in the class all together. Today, 2 are absent. How many are here today? How do you know? Well, when we said 2 were absent, we took those 2 away, and when we did 12 take away 2, we were left with 10 students here today. How do we know that? We showed with our work that we figured out how many there are in all, and we took away 2. So today, there are 10 kids in class. So my answer is there are 12 kids in the class altogether. Today there are 10 kids in class. We answered both part 1 and part 2 of the question. It's important that you make sure that you're answering both parts or all parts of the problem. And we used pictures, numbers, and words to solve. So today your problem is very similar. So you're going to use the same skills that we just used to solve the one on your own. So instead of 6, for yours there are 9 boys and 9 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? Today 2 are absent. How many are here today? How do you know? That is the problem that you need to solve on your own. Make sure you're solving both parts of that problem. It's asking you 2 different things. So you need to show your work and solve those 2 different questions. I'll read it one more time for you. 9 boys and 9 girls are in a class. How many children are in the class? Today, 2 are absent. How many are here today? How do you know? So go ahead and solve that problem. Make sure you're solving all parts and using pictures, numbers, and words to solve. After the word problem, it says optional, watch the WHRO Learn to Grow segment from 1:15 to 1:30. Practice what you talked about in today's segment. So those are the optional programs being shown on TV for first grade. And it's giving you the opportunity to practice what was talked about on that program today. So that's on WHRO from 1:15 to 1:30 if you're interested in doing that. Now we're going to shift to content, and it says Chief Powhatan and Pocahontas. So remember, content is going to be brand new information that we haven't learned before. Reading, writing, and math are going to be more so review, but content will be new information. So we're going to look at that now. It says, look at the picture of Fort Jamestown. It has Thursday written at the top. Answer 2 of the questions below. So first, let's just look at the picture that it's talking about before we even look at the questions that go with it. I'm going to share my screen. So this is the picture it's asking you to look at. You see the boat in the water. Look at how they've built their fort. Just kind of take it all in. Look at what you notice. Good. So it says, so look at the picture of Fort Jamestown, the picture we just looked at. Answer 2 of the questions below. What is the name of this settlement? Why is it important to Virginia? And who are the 2 groups of people that we think about when we see Jamestown? So we've been talking about 2 groups of people, the people that were already there and the people that sailed in ships over. And it's saying, who are they? So there are 3 questions there. Pick 2 of them to answer. I'll read the questions again, and that's just based on looking at that picture that we were just looking at. What is the name of this settlement? Why is it important to Virginia? And who are the 2 groups of people that we think about when we see Jamestown? And you can just write those on any piece of paper, answering complete sentences, please. So then it says read pages 48 and 49 about the Powhatan people. So let's go find that. 48 and 49. Okay. So Jamestown was named to honor King James. The Powhatan Indians did the same thing. They honored their leader Powhatan by taking his name. So the settlers, when they sailed in ships across the ocean and landed in Virginia, they named it Jamestown after their king in England, whose name was King James. The Powhatan people are called the Powhatan Indians because they wanted to honor their chief, whose name was Chief Powhatan. So they kind of did similar things there. So we're right here. Powhatan was a strong leader. He was the ruler of over 30 different American Indian tribes in Virginia when the English settlers arrived in Jamestown. Powhatan believed that this new tribe of Englishmen could become part of his nation. So he thought of them more so as a tribe because that's what he was used to. And he thought that maybe they could become a part of the people that he is the ruler over. So it says, a powerful leader. Powhatan's child, Pocahontas. Powhatan had a bright young daughter. He called her Pocahontas, a nickname that means mischievous. She was about 11 years old when the settlers arrived. She was curious about the newcomers. Pocahontas helped the settlers. She went with her father's people to visit Jamestown. She gave the settlers food so they would not starve at times when there was very little to eat. In the coming years, Pocahontas played a big part in the lives of the settlers and the Indians. An artist imagines what Pocahontas looked like. So, a lot of you might have seen the Disney movie Pocahontas, and that is based on Chief Powhatan and Pocahontas, but it's not completely true as to what really happened. So in the movie, she looks like she's a lot older than 11 years old, right? In real life, when the English settlers came across the ocean and ended up in Jamestown, she was only 11, so she was just a little girl. So there's lots of things like that that in real life were different than the Disney movie Pocahontas. Now it says, after we've read that information, it says, share some new ideas that you learned to someone in your home. So just out loud by talking, share some of the new things that you learned either about Chief Powhatan or Pocahontas from what you just read. And like I said, even though I read it to you, try and read it to yourself after. And then you're going to share something that you learned about Chief Powhatan or Pocahontas to someone in your home. Then it says, complete a double bubble graphic organizer. It is used to compare two things. You can complete the one in the packet, draw it on the sidewalk, or draw it inside of an empty cereal box. So it's basically saying you can either use the page in the packet, or you can try and recreate the page in the packet on a piece of paper at home or on a sidewalk with chalk, anything you can just make work for you. But I'm going to pull it up so that I can show you what it looks like at least. So this is what the double bubble map looks like. And we've got Chief Powhatan over here and Pocahontas over here. So it says, a double bubble helps us learn how two things are the same and different. You are going to think about how Chief Powhatan and Pocahontas are the same and how they're different. The bubbles in the middle are how they are the same. That's why the bubbles connect to both Chief Powhatan's bubble and Pocahontas's bubble. The two bubbles that connect to Chief Powhatan are how he is different than Pocahontas. You can write draw or draw and write. So you can just write, you can just draw, or you can do both for your answers in the bubbles. So what that means is we've got Pocahontas here and Chief Powhatan here. These bubbles right here on the inside, you see how they're connected to both Pocahontas and Chief Powhatan? In these two bubbles, you are going to write things that are the same for Pocahontas and Chief Powhatan, something that they have in common. That means something that is about both of them in these two because it connects to both of them. In these two, they are only connected to Pocahontas. So these should be things that she is different than Chief Powhatan. So this should be something that is only for Pocahontas, something that you learned that is only about Pocahontas, that is different from Chief Powhatan. So that would be in these two bubbles. Remember, these two bubbles are something that is the same about Chief Powhatan and Pocahontas. One here and one here. In these two bubbles, these should be things that are only about Chief Powhatan, and they should be something that's different, that shows how he is different from Pocahontas. So I can think of one. Chief Powhatan it said he was the leader of lots of Native American tribes. So that's something that you could put here because Pocahontas was not the leader of Native American tribes. So that's something that's just about Chief Powhatan that you could put in either this bubble or this bubble. So something that's just about Chief Powhatan in these two, something that is only about Pocahontas in these two, and then in the middle, something that is the same about them both in this one and this one. So once you've done that, and like I said, you can either print this page out and do it right on there, or you can try and recreate that double bubble map on a piece of paper at home or whatever's easiest for you. So I believe that is the end of the activities for today's portion of the packet. We did some reading, some writing, some math, and content. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Tomorrow is day 5 of the packet. And then after day 5, feel free to start sending us. Some of you have been sending us work as you go, which is fine. Or at the end of the week, you can send us the work for that week. And then we'll be getting you feedback from that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope that you enjoy being home with your family and are finding ways to keep busy. So I hope you have a great day, like I said, and I love you. I miss you. And I'm excited to see some of you on our Zoom call today at 1 o'clock. So I'll see you then. Looking forward to it. Bye.